They accuse Odyssey of deleting and censoring negative comments. Look, so NBC is manipulating the Rotten Tomatoes rating and is enforcing copyright law on any negative meme about Odyssey. Impressive, they say here. But this is Nolan's masterpiece. People are desperate to see it, they say. Just imagine, here we can see several screenshots where people show that they received copyright claims. Just imagine, I mean, it's complete madness. And this has reached such a point that here they're even telling us they're capturing, or rather censoring, screenshots of the scene. I mean, just imagine what we're seeing, guys. It's complete madness. It's unbelievable. This means they filed a copyright claim against that post to take it down so people can't see it. I mean, just imagine that. In fact, here they're telling us, wow, John from NBC is demanding that X Twitter remove all the Odyssey memes. I'm laughing out loud. Incredible. I mean, this is just total madness. And let's see here. They're also commenting. Incredible. At Odyssey, they're suing people who took screenshots of their movie. Wow. I've noticed that a lot of people were making fun of Helen of Troy. Ridiculous, pathetic. And here they show us a screenshot of an email they received from Twitter X, where basically they ended up deleting various screenshots for copyright infringement, right? Copyright, intellectual property. So basically the people behind Odyssey looked for any excuse to try to silence all those people who were making fun of the movie. Surprised? Honestly, I'm not. It doesn't surprise me at all, honestly, under any circumstances. And we've seen in the last few days how Odyssey has an excellent critics score on Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't surprise me, right? I mean, the critics have rated it really well. 95% approval, 8.7 out of 10 rating, and with the top critics, it's more of the same. 97% approval. Only 2 top critics from Rotten Tomatoes didn't like the movie. I mean, just imagine such a huge difference. But with the audience, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, people are loving this movie. And if we only go by Rotten Tomatoes, it seems like this is something amazing, right? I mean, that the vast majority of people are loving Odyssey. In fact, we see here 4.8 out of 5 stars, 97% approval. And when we look at the entire audience, 4.6 out of 5 stars and 92% approval, I mean, it's almost crazy. But when we go to other platforms like Metacritic, we can see that things change. Yes, 89 rating from the critics is still a very high rating, but 5.1 stars from the people, 5.1 out of 10. And that's where the key is. I wonder why on Metacritic we're seeing the movie get torn apart. I mean, people are tearing this movie apart, but on Rotten Tomatoes they're not. And let's remember, with all due respect to Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes is a much more famous, much more popular, much more recognized platform. So, commonly in fact, when fans want to destroy a movie or a series and review bomb it, the platform they usually use is Rotten Tomatoes. And here we see that, well, it seems like it doesn't have bad ratings, or at least it has very, very few. But I'm telling you, what's really happening is that almost certainly they're deleting those negative reviews. They're removing them almost for sure. And actually, this is something that a lot of people are talking about. Look, Rotten Tomatoes has permanently lost its credibility. Odyssey, 97% approval from the audience, even surpassing The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Wow! Meanwhile, 2 other platforms, most notably Metacritic. There it has 5.3 and on Letterboxd 4.3. Well, let's see. To be honest, I know you see a 4.3 rating here, but as far as I know, on Letterboxd, the maximum rating is 5 stars, right? In fact, here we can see that it has about 5 stars, and in the end, it got 4.3 out of 5, not 4.3 out of 10. To be honest, I mean, maybe this person doesn't know, and that's why they made this comment. You can't expect a difference of 50 points between platforms, unless someone is picking and presenting the data. The rating is no longer a rating, now it's an advertising space for the highest bidder, that's what they say here. And they also show us that, well, on IMDb the movie has 8.3, well, 8.4, 8.3 stars out of 10. Which is a decent rating, but very, very far from what we're seeing on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is way higher. We're talking about a 97% approval rating, while here we're talking about 8.4 stars. And well, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's 4.8 stars out of 5. You see? I mean, we're talking about something crazy, a super high rating. People are supposedly loving and adoring this movie. Now, there's one thing that's true. The movie is getting pretty good numbers. On its opening weekend, this movie did very, very well. In fact, the movie grossed 264 millions on its opening weekend at the box office. Keep in mind, this is an estimate, and it might not be completely accurate, since I don't know how much the World Cup will affect things on Sunday. Okay? Sunday, July 19th, I'm saying this because this isn't real. I mean, it's an estimate based on a formula and mathematical calculations. They predict how much could have been made on Sunday, but we won't know the real data until Monday afternoon or around noon. We'll really know how much this movie made. Even so, the numbers are very good. I mean, the movie, let's see, needs to make $700 million to be profitable. But let me remind you that it has something in its favor, and that's because it's dominating on IMAX screens. Maybe it's not dominating as much in regular theaters, but on IMAX screens, it really is. I mean, Odyssey is filling up IMAX theaters, and that's not a minor thing, guys. It's very important that you understand that, because a ticket to see a movie in an IMAX theater costs twice as much as a regular ticket. Pay close attention to that detail. I'm telling you, it's not a minor issue. In fact, it's extremely important, because this means that the vast majority of tickets to see the Odyssey count as 2. Of course, they count as 2. They're worth double. Just imagine that. In fact, honestly, the most likely thing is that this movie, despite having grossed $264 million, almost certainly drew about the same number of people a movie usually does. At this point, it would have made, I don't know, about $140 or $150 million, I mean, just so you can get an idea. That's why I don't think it's impossible, honestly, for the Odyssey to reach $700 million. But what I think, and the reason why I believe and feel they're trying to silence all these comments, is to cushion the drop in the second weekend at the box office. Look, honestly, there are people saying that this movie is going to collapse. I'm not so sure about that, to be honest. I think it could easily hold up pretty well for a second weekend. The issue might arise in the third weekend when Spider-Man is released. Now keep in mind that, yes, of course, Spider-Man is going to take away a lot of screens, including IMAX screens, but a whole lot, because theaters are going to see Spider-Man as a priority. But if this movie manages to hold on well for a second weekend, it's most likely going to be profitable. We'll see. So I think they're trying to silence comments so they don't have that problem. Right? But anyway, let me know what you think and what your opinion is about all this. Ladies and gentlemen, see you next time.